Hi everybody, it's Janet with Fruit of the Vine Art Studio here. Bye Coco. Coco came up to see what I was doing. Tonight we're just going to do a little oil pastel real quick. I'm going to be using a piece of 144-pound watercolor paper. Actually I've got a couple. I've cut one out. I'm doing something a little bit special here. I'm going to be using just a little bit of baby oil and some Q-tips for this, and maybe a cotton ball or two. And then I'll be using some Mod Podge. I'm going to see if I'm going to be able to Mod Podge another piece of the watercolor paper on top of the drawing that I make here. So I'm going to try something different. We're going to see how that works. Anyway, let's bend this down here, tilt you down to where you're looking at what I'm drawing. And zoom you in a bit. I've got it already taped down, so I've got to move the camera. I can't move the work. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to start out with a pretty general background, and I want it to be sort of brownish colors at this bottom portion of it here. So I'm just going to start with a Van Dyke brown. And I'm just going to put that right here across about the bottom third of my watercolor paper. Real simple like, and then I'm going to get a little bit of a, what is this one? Dark carmine, and add some of that down here along the bottom. Maybe a little right back here in the back. I'm going to get a dark green. I'm going to use this deep green. Put that right here along this area. And then from there, we're going to start building some sky colors. So I'm going to use, I'm not being able to see the comments. I don't know what it's doing again. Okay, well, if you're with me, I'd appreciate it. If you give me a thumbs up, something like that. I don't see comments, so I'm not sure what's going on. But that's okay. We're going to move forward. I'm going to put some yellow in this area. And then from the yellow, I'm going to move into, no, I don't want to use a vermilion. Let me see here. I'm looking at these different little colors. We'll use this yellow orange. I was trying to find that. We're going to use a little yellow orange here. And then from the yellow-orange, we'll use a little bit of this vermilion, because yes, I will use the vermilion right here. And then from there, we're going to use a deep red. A little bit of a purple. I want this to get darker. Here, I can use this right here. Violet. I'm going to put that over top of that purple a little bit. I want that to be a little darker right there. I'm going to top it off with some Prussian blue. I've got a very, very colorful background going on here, and right now it just looks just a little wacky. But what happens when I start using the Q-tips here? Now, for the bottom part, I'm going to use a cotton ball. So I'm going to go next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my baby oil, and I'm going to put just a little bit in the cap. And I'm going to get just a small amount of baby oil on my cotton ball. And I'm going to squeeze most of it off because I really don't want much on there. If you've got a paper towel, you can kind of tap it off on the paper towel. But now watch what happens when I start using the oil, the baby oil, on top of an oil pastel. It just blends so easily. See how quickly that blends together there? I'm not applying much pressure at all. And it's just blending it so easy down here at the bottom. I'd like that to be just a little bit darker down here. Let me try this. I don't know. Where's me a darker brown? Well, here's just brown. Let's see what brown does. Let's take some brown and add it down in here. I'd like this to be just a little bit darker here. So I'm just going to add that right on the top of it, take my cotton ball, and just work it right into it. Now you don't want so much that your paper gets saturated. So that's why you're not just going to dip it right in the oil and just put it all over here. No, you don't want to do that because you don't want it to get saturated with the oil. Now I'm going to continue into the green here. I'm going to turn my cotton ball over. And I'm going to work this green a little bit. And it can come up. I'm not too worried about it. And it can go down. But after that, we're going to switch off. Make it a little higher in some corner over here. Go a little across. Bring it a little higher over here maybe. And put it a little across right there. Now I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to start down here in the yellow. I'm getting a little more I'm getting more of the oil on the other side of this cotton tip. Cotton ball. Hold that up there. I don't want that green getting in it. It's already got a little in it right there. But that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. We can work on that. Now, I'll tell you something that you want to do. You want to make like little figure eights and where your colors are coming together. You're going to take your and make a little figure eight. And that helps blend your two colors together. Just make little figure eights in here. Working on the side. Work this up the side right here, where I want these two colors to blend together. Just a very, very colorful background is what I'm looking for, and that's exactly what we're getting here. A very nice, vivid, colored background. Bring that darker blue down into this purple. Bring it across the top. Little figure eights as I work my way there. Now you see just a little bit of green right in here. So I'll take me a little more of the yellow. I'm going to work it right there. This is actually that yellow orange. And I'm not going to use this at all now. That's a done deal. I'm going to get me a clean cotton tip. Get a little bit of oil in it, not much. Squeeze that off. Just work that right there. Not too much. Because now we're going to add another element to this. I'm going to also color this cute little Jeep that I've cut out. Now this is on watercolor paper too. And then I'm going to try this. I don't know how this is going to work because, of course, like I said, we've used oil pastels and baby oil. So we've got oil on oil, right? I'm going to wipe some of this right here off the edge. And I do need for this to dry just a little bit before I start trying to apply a little Mod Podge. I'm going to try to put Mod Podge on the back of my Jeep and then sit it on the card just like this. And I'm making a birthday card with this, is actually what I'm making. So the Jeep will be going down the road here, and I can see right now that I do want this. If I put my Jeep where I'm going to want it to be in this, then I'm going to want this to still be a little darker. So let me get some gray, and I'm just going to work a little gray right into this area here. Pull my Jeep off. So I'm just going to add a little gray element to this, just as shading. A little bit of Jeep shading. Now I can use this same Q-tip because all I did was touch the smallest amount of yellow, and that's not going to hurt anything. Just to darken this brown up a little more. Or a couple of figure 8s in there to blend it. Don't got to worry about it too much back in this area because it's going to be covered by the Jeep. But I still want to make sure it's got a nice blend to it. And you can see I'm not applying much pressure at all to this. Just blend this right here on the side. And just a little bit across through here. And then we're going to take this green here and we're just going to make some little speckles back here in the green area. What am I using here? Olive green. That's what I thought I picked up. Just making some speckles of the green. Bringing it down into this brown area. In the background a little. It's not going to show too much, so there's not a lot of need to do a bunch of stuff in the middle here. The middle's really not going to show because it's going to be covered by the Jeep. So once again, let's say our Jeep is going to be sitting right in here. So you'll see a little bit of the green speckling over here. I want the Jeep to be right there. Right there, where it's going to cover up that little bit of green that I got in the sky back there. Hey Steve, thank you for joining me. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying something for me so that I know what's going on out here. So now we're going to work on the Jeep part. So I think it's probably time that we, well no, I don't want to take that up yet, but I want you to be able to see what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to use a little bit of gray. And I'm going to use some black. But there's not a lot of color to this Jeep because this is going to be a black and white Jeep. So maybe I should Mod Podge it on first and then color the Jeep part in, because most of it's going to be white. Except for the tires, of course, that'll be black. We'll work on those. Yes, maybe that's what we should do. Okay. I'm just seeing how much of this is going to rub off here. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the Mod Podge and I'm going to apply it to the back. Let me put these over here. I'm going to apply the Mod Podge, just using regular Mod Podge here. And I'm going to apply it to the back of the Jeep. And then I'm going to place it on the oil. And we'll see how that works. If Mod Podge adheres to oil pastels. Just rubbing the Mod Podge on the back here. Let me get it on the tires. I want to get a good coat of it on here. I better just sit it down. You guys can't really see what I'm doing anyway, but I'm putting the Mod Podge on here. You can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm getting it sort of over here in your visual track. Let me move it over here a little bit. Just put a nice layer of the Mod Podge all over it. Okay. Now we'll take the little Jeep, try to get him in the center, Janet. Right there. Okay, now I don't want to touch him with my Mod Podgety fingers, because when you Mod Podge it, it gets it to where it's going to be harder for the oil pastels to adhere to it. But this part's white right here anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Let me get this side to hold down. Push down the tires. My fingers are kind of messy. I'm trying to keep from touching it and transferring too much color to it, because it's going to be white in a lot of spots. But it's also got a lot of other color I gotta add. I gotta add silver, gray, black. So right now I'm just kind of holding it down, waiting for it to adhere just a little bit. We're seeing if it's gonna hold. Is it gonna do it? Can it do it? I think yes. I think Mod Podge will hold this. Yes, I do. I'm gonna put that in the water. I don't think you're gonna need much more than that. Pretty good right there, it looks like. Let me wipe this right underneath. So I'm still making sure that it's actually, you know, maybe what I should do. I don't know, though. That might make that stick to my iron. Better not do that. I don't want a bunch of oil pastels on the bottom of my iron. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Okay. Well, anyway, while that's working right there, I'm going to work a little bit on some of this. So this is going to be get a little bit of gray streaks in there. These are an orangish yellow color. Let's also have a little bit of gray in there. Make it little X's on the headlights. Okay, then we're going to take black and put that, let me see, maybe I better. Not like the black's going to be any other color, it's always going to be black. Doesn't need to say it at the bottom. But I kind of need a little sharp edge. So I'm just going to use that right there. Fill these in. Hi, Coco. Coco's running up and down the stairs. That happy puppy. Okay. We're going to work on this right here. We're going to put some black in here. Filling in the grill. Don't want to get too carried away here. Work on the tires a little bit. Now, what do we think so far? Did the Mod Podge glue that on here? I'm hoping so. Seems to be. Okay, so there's the tires. Now let's see, we need some light gray for the back of the mirror. One too. All right, I gotta put some black bumper. I'm going to add some gray to that. That's why I'm not making that very dark. Because I don't want it to be the exact same color as the tires. Right? It's got to have a little variation in it. Okay. So now that's just starting to look a little odd, isn't it? That's alright. We're going to work on it. Get just a wee bit of the oil here. Don't want much. Got to squeeze that off. Okay. The first thing I'm going to start with is this. this one. It's just a very, very light gray. And we'll do a little bit of, just a little bit in the glass there. We don't want that to be completely covered. We want some of the white to show through, in other words. I'm going to turn it over, go to the other side for the yellow. There we go. Now we're going to work on this blended black. On this bumper. Got just a little out of the line there, but that's okay because it's a Jeep. It's going to have some shading added to it anyway. Can't be pristine white. It might be a white Jeep, but it ain't going to be that white. Right? I mean, seriously. Got to have some dirt. It's been driven on the road. That's right. That around that headlight right there. And then I'm going to get a different one to work on the tires. Now we'll just take this and just rub a little bit right above it. A little bit back in here. Across the top of the fenders. Side of the hood here. Got to give it a little character, right? We don't want to get it too dirtied up, but it's got to be a little bit dirtier than that. We can't have it looking like it's never been on the road before. So we got to add a little bit of, just a little bit of color and dirt and such up across the top of it here. A little across the top of the hood. Not too much. We don't want to get it too dirtied up, but we want it to be a little bit dirty looking. Right? Yeah. Just a little bit dirty looking. It can't look like it's completely snow white. What fun Jeep is that? What's that? Jeep had no fun whatsoever? Been nowhere? Yeah. Got to do better than that. Okay, so now I'm going to pinch this a little bit. And just push that just a little bit around right there. Okay. Get that. And we'll work on these little guys right here. And this little bit of the grill. It's getting a little fat. Turn it over this way. There we go, now the grill's filled. the tire here. Get this tire over here. Right there. All right. Came together pretty easy. Then you add a couple of little gray streaks into the tire here. Go. And let's see, that needs to be a little darker down in here. And do we have a Q-tip? There's one. Grab you real quick. Color that in down here underneath the Jeep. And we'll add a little bit of darkness right in here at the bottom of the grill. You all right? Or Normal's over here trying to cough up a hairball. If it's not the dog flicking around, it's the cat over here coughing up a hairball. Yep, that's the way it goes around here. But that's okay. We love them. They're our babies. Okay, get that out of the background. I don't think we need to do much more to it. It looks kind of dirtied up. I think that's about as dirtied up as you want the Jeep to look. It's a white Jeep. It's got the tires. We've got a shade underneath it. We've got a beautiful sky in the background. I think I'm going to stop right there with that. Maybe we could, well, I don't know. I don't know if I need to, well, we can rust it up. No, we don't need to add no bunch of rust to it. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to take this off. And actually what I'm going to do with this is a card that I'm going to give to my son for his birthday. And I'm thinking they're not watching this evening. I don't believe they are, so he won't see this. He has a white Jeep. That's why I made it white. Or I would have made it red just for show, just so it would look real popped out on the page. But since I'm making this as a card for my son's birthday, I'm going to leave it white because he drives a white Jeep. So, that's the card. The pretty background on it. I'm going to open it up. On the inside, I'm going to write something along the lines of, may your travels on the road of life be full of great adventures. Happy birthday. So there we have it. That's what I'm going to do with this. We Mod Podged it right onto there. It's holding on well. So you can add Mod Podge on top of an oil pastel painting. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you again. Now, actually, Saturday, I'll be running a video for you. I hope you enjoy it. Have a wonderful Memorial Day. Bye, guys.